finally returned. Summerfest is here, and WTMJ will be broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio, right on the lakefront. Come by, say hi. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it's 66 degrees. Today, partly cloudy, warm, and humid with a chance of showers and storms, a high of 90. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. An update to the case of a Fond du Lac woman who survived a violent axe attack.
New details reveal both the victim's arms were broken and she has multiple head fractures. The man now charged with attempted murder is her ex-boyfriend, 34-year-old Hayden Daffinson, now behind bars on $5 million bond. Fond du Lac County District Attorney Eric Toney telling us,
I've seen some of the photos and I just want to be careful. We're grateful that this woman is alive, that she survived.
Court records reveal Daffinson was caught in Germantown after a car chase. His legs and shoes were found covered in blood. Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court agrees with the legislature over the governor's use of a partial veto.
The court ruled Wednesday that Governor Tony Evers improperly used his partial veto on a bill that detailed the plan for spending on new literacy programs for K-12 students. The court also sided with the legislature and said the Budget Committee can legally put money into an emergency fund to be distributed later. That is currently being done with the $50 million for the literacy program. Governor Evers had argued such a move was unconstitutional. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
More than half of Wisconsin's voters do not want Governor Evers to run for a third term.
42% say he should seek a third term. 55% say he should not.
That's Marquette Law School poll director Charles Franklin sharing the results of a recent statewide poll. Past polling also showed voters largely opposed giving a third term to former Republican Governor Scott Walker.
This is from January of 2016, when it was 36% saying Walker should run again, 61% no.
Evers has said he won't announce if he'll run for a third term until after the current state budget process is complete. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled today that South Carolina can bar Planned Parenthood's access to federal Medicaid funding for non-abortion services. The decision allows states to ban the organization from getting Medicaid reimbursements for cancer screenings and other non-abortion-related services. Robin Dunn is a trial attorney and legal analyst.
And this decision involves South Carolina may remove Planned Parenthood from its state Medicaid program. But that was a pretty large one that, folks have been thinking about for some time.
Public health care money generally can't be used to pay for abortions. Closing arguments are expected to begin today in the sex trafficking and conspiracy trial against Sean Diddy Combs. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
After weeks of graphic, often emotional testimony, federal prosecutors are about to summarize their case against Sean Combs, hoping to convince a jury of 8 men and 4 women that one of hip-hop's most acclaimed figures coerced women into drug-addled sexual marathons with male escorts. Prosecutors also allege Combs used his assistants, his bodyguards, and other employees to carry out a pattern of criminal activity.
Combs has pled not guilty to all the charges. He did not take the stand. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All good news on the board so far this morning. Your Dow is up 317 points to 43,299. The S&P 500 is up 38 points to 6,130. And the NASDAQ is up 120 points to 20,093. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sport, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:04.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. Nobody can keep your car running smoothly like an Adam new car dealer. Adam service technicians are factory trained and use original factory parts backed by a warranty. Best of of all, you'll find competitive pricing equal to or even lower than independent shops. A well-maintained car delivers maximum gas mileage and saves you money. Call an Adam dealer today because you're always better off at an Adam new car dealer.
Get an oil change and safety inspection today.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend.
the best way to remove urine from a mattress is to trade in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasselus Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. And that's on top of our everyday low prices.
Come on, everybody says lowest prices.
Others sell a Sealy Posturepedic Queen Emeryville A mattress for $1268. Hasselus sells it for $1034. But through Monday, it's just $786. And check out the low prices on Beautyrest and more. Plus, free next day delivery.
What does my friend do with his old soaked mattress?
We haul it away for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Wisconsin Lutheran grad Con Knippel was the 4th overall pick Wednesday in round 1 of the NBA draft, being selected by the Charlotte Hornets. This makes him the highest draft pick ever selected from the state. The Milwaukee Bucks still have the 47th overall pick in the draft and will make their selection today. The Brewers have the day off after the Miz outduels Skeens at a packed American Family Field Wednesday, defeating the Pirates 4-2. Next up is MLB's worst team, the Colorado Rockies. The Crew starts the weekend series tomorrow at home. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Just one incident in our area, 94 west at Wisconsin 175 north. The right shoulder is blocked due to a crash between a tanker and a semi. Now it is off on the shoulder, so traffic is moving smoothly through that area. However, if you are traveling up to Dodge County, Wisconsin 49 is closed in both directions from County V to County YY or Dairy Road because of a crash. You're going to need to find an alternate route. Now that's in Dodge County again, Wisconsin 49. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, partly cloudy, warm and humid with a chance of showers and storms, a high of 90 degrees. Tonight, scattered showers and storms are possible, a low of 69. For your Friday, a slight chance of morning rain and then afternoon sunshine, a high of 80. Saturday is partly cloudy with a high of 83. Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid with a chance of afternoon storms, a high of 90. And Monday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain, a high of 87. Right now in Madison, it's 78. In Waukesha, it's 79. In Green Bay, it's 63. And in Milwaukee, it's partly cloudy and 66 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday edition. Kristen Bry, how are you?
I'm great. How's your jet lag? Back to normal?
No, I'm still using an alarm clock, so that's a very unusual thing for me. But I'm ready for this show today.
Flex.
I'm coming out hot.
I know. You are fired up.
Look, I understand that nobody in government wants leaks, and they want us to do things the way things should be done, and we want certainly to protect our interests over in our country and overseas. But then I heard Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he of the cheap suits and the excessive hair care products, talking to the media like they're his lackeys.
They summoned the media for a meeting this morning.
I saw that word. Summon the media so he can lecture them about what media should actually do. Like he's actually somebody that would understand media, because he's basically a car salesman who's, because of his context, has worked his way up to that position. And I just said that. So we have a couple clips of him chastising the members of the media assembled for this conversation about and it all goes back to this leaked intelligence report, which has to do with the bombing of these nuclear facilities in Iran and how maybe, just maybe, they didn't work out exactly as the president of the United States has said they worked out.
There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that, because of the hatred of this press corps, are undermined because people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed.
Look, your job is not to lecture the media. Your job is to tell us what actually happened. Those things will be determined, just like the story of Iraq and all the things.
Or be more vague with what happened.
Yes.
Instead of declaring it was completely obliterated if we don't know that for sure.
No responsible member of the press, media, whatever term you want to use, are going to listen to Pete Hegseth lecture them about anything. And if you do that, you shouldn't be in the media. Your job is not to make things look glowy and fun and we got the mission accomplished. That's not your damn job. If we want that, we'll go to Fox News where they kiss the president's you-know-what every damn day. That's not your job. Yes, there's a market for that, and unfortunately some people in this country have sort of signed on for that nonsense. That's not me. Do your damn job and tell us what did or didn't happen, or say we don't know yet. But your job is not to assemble or summon the members of the media and then lecture them because somehow you're the top guy that understands everything. You know very little about what you're doing. You know very little about the media because you're basically, as I said before, a used car salesman, all dressed up, all polished up, who apparently has built himself a makeup facility in and around the Department of Defense. What's that about? How much did that cost? Did Elon get to the bottom of that controversy, that spending? Look, do your damn job. This is not complicated. What happened? Were the strikes impactful? Did they shut down their program? If they didn't, when you can, tell us what's next. What's coming for our military? What's coming for our world? I was overseas when this happened. I can tell you there was a lot of apprehension in that country and across the world about where is this story going. You better get your story straight. And if you have leakers, look among the knuckleheads you probably appointed to some of these positions. Maybe they weren't ready for prime time because many of them know nothing about the Department of Defense. Many of them know nothing about the military. Many of them do not deserve the seats in which they are serving. Pete Hegseth. I'll just leave it at that.
Steve, deep breath in.
Deep breath in.
Deep breath out.
An important conversation.
Important conversation. I'm sure we're going to talk more about this with Bill and Joe tomorrow. But when we come back, we're going to have a conversation with something that I feel like we all can actually agree on, except there's a couple holdouts in the Wisconsin legislature, and it has to do with women's health and probably has to deal with someone that you love. So stay with us on Point Taken.
Hey, listen up, moms, dads, grandparents. School's out. Summer is here. You need an outing. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got it for you. Take your kids to the Mine Shaft Restaurant and Entertainment Center in Hartford, the area's most affordable, cool, and comfortable summer vacation destination. It is world-class fun because they've got a world-class game room with over 80 interactive games, including a huge claw crane game, Taj Mahal Mini, Ticket Ring 45, Monopoly Roll and Go, and the easiest games for all your little ones. Monday and Thursday, that's when you want to go. You buy one pizza, you get a second pizza for free. Sunday through Thursday, kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. It's free. Your kids are going to love the Mine Shaft, especially your teenagers. Grandparents, take your grandkids to the Mine Shaft. They'll love you more than ever. It's fantastic. Big food, big fun. It's the Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. It's a super affordable summer outing with free pizza on Monday and Thursday. Visit MineShaftRestaurant.com. Hey, John Mercure here. I hope you'll consider hanging out with me on Saturdays at 1 o'clock for Experience Wisconsin. I love Experience Wisconsin because we help you experience all the great people, places, things, events, festivals in our state. We head from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan. From north to south, it's a really fun show. This week, incredible. We will check out Road America in Elkhart Lake and the Wade House. It's super fun. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 right here on 620 WTMJ.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. He is Steve Scafidi. And our next topic This is a bill that I think I have talked about every legislative session since I have been doing radio. So that's like 4 or 5 years. And so I think it's a long time. It's been 3 legislative sessions, and this is the 3rd time. Twice it has not been able to get it done, but it is one of the most consequential pieces of health legislation, especially for women's health in Wisconsin right now. It is called Gale's Law. And so joining us now to talk about the bill and what it's going to take to get it over the line is on the phone. We have Representative Amanda Nedwuski, who's one of the authors of the bill, patient advocate Linda Hansen, and Dr. Jennifer Bergen, who is a radiologist with Radiology Waukesha. Welcome, everyone. Representative, let's start with you as far as just explaining what Gale's Law does.
Essentially, Gale's Law just closes an insurance gap for supplemental breast screenings. So if a woman has a mammogram, we passed a law in 2017 that she has to be notified by the provider if she has dense breast tissue. At that point, you're recommended to talk with your provider, whether it's your primary care provider or a specialist, and whether or not you meet the risk factors that would warrant supplemental screenings, maybe a breast MRI, regular MRI, or an ultrasound, or maybe some other type of technology that could better see if you have a detectable cancer, because sometimes mammograms have a very difficult time detecting tumors or the presence of cancer in dense breast tissue. So many insurance companies do cover these supplemental screenings, but they don't cover them without cost sharing. This would close the cost sharing gap. So, for example, if you are a woman with a high deductible health plan and maybe your deductible is $5,000 and early in the year you have your mammogram and you need a supplemental screening, but maybe that breast MRI is going to cost you $1,000, are you more or less likely to go ahead and pay out of pocket because you haven't met your deductible yet, that $1,000 for the screening, or are you going to skip it because it's a cost barrier for you and you have other priorities or you can't afford it? So what we have found is too many women are skipping that supplemental screening that's recommended for them if they're in a high-risk category, and they may be missing out on the opportunity for early detection. So Gale's Law would close that cost-sharing gap and require insurance companies to provide that supplemental screening at no cost-sharing cost to the patient so that they don't have to avoid doing that test until either later in the year or at all. So,
Representative, I've talked about this, like Kristen, on several shows over the past 4 or 5 years. I know this is a bipartisan issue. So I'm going to ask it this way. You work with these individuals in the state legislature in Wisconsin. Who's getting in the way of this and why?
Well, this is my 2nd term in the legislature, so I did not work on Gale's Law last session. I know this is the 3rd time around. This is truly not just a red or blue issue. It's a pink issue, and we do have a lot of bipartisan support. The difference this time around is that Representative Nedwuski is here to advocate, so I'm hoping that I have a stronger voice for women's health that can help get us over the line. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 sessions to get legislation passed. I think that there certainly is some resistance from health insurance providers, but I'm working really hard to come to a compromise with them and try to understand why this common sense bill is something they're so resistant to. And they've got to do their jobs too. Nobody likes insurance mandates. I think that certainly there are a lot of people who think that this could be a slippery slope in terms of, what else are we going to mandate insurance companies to cover? We've seen extreme cases of insurance mandates like the Affordable Care Act where there's massive government overreach, and I think that may have left a bad taste in some Republicans' mouths. And, we have to sort of work with the data, provide the data, use the data to convince people that this is a common sense, not only life-saving, but cost-savings bill.
So, Dr. Bergen, thinking about the stats and the data that we do have, why is dense breast tissue an issue, like when we were actually trying to identify breast cancer?
Sure. So dense breast tissue is kind of a double whammy. It first affects 40 to 50% of all women, so it affects many women, and it makes the mammogram harder to interpret. So on a dense mammogram, the breast tissue is whiter or denser, and breast cancers often look white on a mammogram. And so we're really hiding the cancer in that dense tissue. It reduces the sensitivity of the mammogram, so there might be a breast cancer there, and we just can't detect it. And that happens up to 50% of the time that we miss a breast cancer in women with extremely dense breast tissue. And the second part of the issue is that women with dense breast tissue have a higher risk of developing breast cancer.
And so, Linda, I've actually gotten to interview you before. And so
Yes.
your story is exactly this, right? As far as you had a clear mammogram and had been having clear mammograms, right?
Yes, I had 15 clear mammograms, all clear, no problem. And I had a mammogram very end of March. And 5 weeks later, beginning of May, I noticed some pain in my right breast, and there was like a dent in it. And I thought, this is not normal. I called my doctor. I went in. My OBGYN recommended that I see a breast cancer specialist. I saw her. She examined me. And I said, I know this can't be breast cancer because I just had a clear mammogram 5 weeks ago. And she looked at me and she said, I'm not going to be able to tell 100% until I do a biopsy. But based on my experience, you have breast cancer and you've had it for a long time.
What's the financial impact of that? When you have to have that additional screening, where does that take you as far as the person if your insurance company is not paying for that?
Well, it can be expensive. For me, my insurance company initially said, no, why are we going to pay for an MRI that the doctor had ordered when you just had a clear mammogram? You're fine. What are we doing here? And it took about a month to convince them. The hospital told me they would not do the MRI if the insurance company didn't approve it unless I brought in a check for $5,000. I'm lucky I had a job that paid well. And so I did. I brought in the check. I was going to do it. And I got there that morning and they said, guess what? The insurance company just called. They're going to cover it. So then I only had to pay the deductible. And, breast cancer is expensive. It's the most expensive cancer to get. The treatment for breast cancer is more expensive than any other kinds of cancer. And you find out really quickly that if your health insurance covers 80% of your bills, 20% can add up in a real hurry.
Got to take a quick break here. Our guests will continue after this on 620 WTMJ.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ANSAY.com. That's ANSAY.com.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul. Remember mixtapes?
Mixtape? Can you buy that at the hardware store?
It's not that kind of tape.
To make a mixtape, you would dub all your favorite songs onto one cassette.
Oh, I was more of an 8-track guy myself.
You know, the new Marshfield 7000 Sofa at Penny Mustard reminds me of the world's greatest mixtape.
We have taken the latest and greatest components of every Penny Mustard configurable sofa and mixed them all together into one.
The Marshfield 7000 is the ultimate sofa.
It's absolutely stunning.
And the comfort level is off the charts.
I definitely see this sofa going all the way to #1.
It's kind of like a greatest hits album, except you can sit on it.
The Marshfield 7000 Sofa, made in Wisconsin with a solid wood frame and hundreds of fabric and leather options, starting at just $21.26 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. They're the best in the business. They are CertaPro painters. Now's the time to get on their schedule. Their summer sales discount goes through the end of July. Do it now. They painted our house, the outside, absolutely fantastic. They're kind, they're thoughtful. They moved our patio furniture out of the way and moved it right back where it belonged. It is CertaPro painters. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. For your home or business, they're the best. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Continuing an important conversation on women's health and I think the importance of the legislature of the state of Wisconsin working with women, healthcare providers, all families in this state, because all of us have been impacted by this story. We're joined by Linda Hansen, a patient advocate, Representative Amanda Nedweski, who's the lead author of the Gales Law bill, and in studio, Dr. Jennifer Bergen. I guess my frustration is significant on this because, as Chris had said at the beginning, we've been talking about this for a while. I guess let's start with the representative. What has to happen to make this bill go forward and get done and get signed?
Well, we have to be able to convince people that it's not going to increase costs, that it's going to save money. I mean, we are all truly affected by breast cancer. I think that there's overwhelming support for this bill because every single person knows someone, whether it's your mom, grandma, aunt, next door neighbor, best friend, someone you work with, maybe even someone you don't like, who all of a sudden, oh my gosh, now I have some empathy because I see they have breast cancer. It is truly something that has impacted every single person. You can't get away from it. So we know that we have the support from the public and from the community. It's about the cost. So I come from a financial background. I've been a financial analyst for many years. And, coming to the legislature, I wanted to make sure that I was always working with data-driven decision-making. And AB 263 removes the financial barriers to accessing technologies that support early diagnosis of breast cancer, which can reduce breast cancer treatment costs incurred by patients, insurers, and the healthcare system. So really, you're talking about early detection means a savings of many studies have shown that a 200 to 500% increase in cost for treatment at the stage 3 and 4 versus earlier staged breast cancers. So patients with advanced stage cancers require high-cost treatments like chemo, like surgery, like follow-up surgery, and they have a higher chance of recurrence. So if you have early detection, you're naturally going to have a lot more lower cost in treatment. And also, when it comes to the impact on premiums, in states that have had this similar legislation in place for quite a while now, you're looking at 4 to 8% per member per month increase to private insurance premiums. That comes to about 80 cents to $1 per year increase in premiums. We have to be able to convince the naysayers that this is a low-cost investment in
Representative,
detection.
there's like 30 states that have already done this, right, Dr. Bergen?
Yeah, that's correct. And earlier this year, even Florida passed this law.
Florida, of all places.
Yeah,
and Texas. Very conservative.
And Texas.
How about that? They seem to get it done.
We're on the back half of this in terms of taking care of women in Wisconsin.
And you were saying that you see this a lot as far as women delaying getting the MRI because it's so expensive. Yeah. And then once they finally do get treatment, their cancer is so much further along.
Absolutely. We see it every day. I can recommend, I see a woman who has a high risk of breast cancer. She has dense breast tissue. I tell her, I really think you need to have an MRI in 6 months because we're doing enhanced screening for you. And now she knows that she has to pay a bill. And, and it might be $400, it might be $3,000, depending on where she has it and things like that. But it's still an expense, and she's weighing whether I'm paying for that or I'm taking care of something for my kids. And
then also just living with the unknown of like, I might just be walking around with cancer right now.
Right? Yeah. You don't really know.
Linda, final word. As somebody who's living this story and has been an advocate for so long, and we've talked in the past, only got about 30 seconds. What should people do in the state of Wisconsin to sort of get this going?
There's a real easy answer to that. Your legislature is elected. They work for us. Please write a letter, an email, call and leave a voicemail. It's so easy. Just simply say, please vote for Gales Law, or please make sure that insurance companies pay all the costs of breast cancer screening.
Linda Hansen, Representative Amanda Nedweski, and Dr. Jennifer Bergen, who specializes in the treatment of this issue with her work in the radiology Waukesha, medical director of breast imaging and services. Thanks for bringing this to our attention. This is a really important conversation. Lots more to get to on the program today. Kristen and Steve on Point Taken. We have local news with Tipua. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. The Pentagon says the U.S. strike against 3 Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend was more successful than a leaked assessment that said that Iran's nuclear program was only set back a few months. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying to reporters today the preliminary report was wrong and questioned the language being used by news outlets. More from ABC's Karen Travers.
It was notable to hear the Secretary of Defense acknowledge that his lane on this could be political, but General Kane would not be, saying that he can use the word obliterated, but General Kane would use different words to describe this.
The Senate parliamentarian saying the big, beautiful bill does not adhere to procedural rules, setting up a scramble for Republicans to get it past the Senate. The Supreme Court ruling this morning, states can cut off Medicaid money for Planned Parenthood. The U.S. economy shrank by 0.5% between January and March, worse than estimates. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Tiff Pua. Tragedy in Green Lake. A 12-year-old child is dead after being hit by a car while riding his bike in the city of Green Lake on Wednesday. The family tells our news partners at NBC 26 his name was Emmett Zadrow. Police say a driver went up over the curb while trying to pull into an angled parking spot and hit Zadrow on the sidewalk. It's unclear if the driver will face charges. A former Marquette Residence Life employee accused of falsifying records so he could live rent-free on campus for a decade returns to court today. According to the criminal complaint, Michael Gerard admitted to altering billing data for the university apartment he was living in at 17th and Wells, allowing him to live rent-free from 2014 to 2024. Gerard has pled not guilty in May. He faces up to 13 years in prison. And Lime scooter usage skyrocketed for the first weekend of Summerfest, with the number of trips doubling compared to last year. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Lime riders took over 29,000 trips in Milwaukee during the fest's first weekend. Since launching in Milwaukee in 2019, over 400,000 riders have taken over 2 million trips on Lime scooters in the city. That amounts to traveling over 3 million miles. Summerfest Weekend 2 starts at noon today. Here's your Annex Wealth Management Market Update, because it's time for your TMJ Market Update. Everything is in the green today. Your Dow is up 273 points to 43,257. Your S&P 500 is up 31 points to 6,123. And the NASDAQ is up 94 points to 20,069. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. No major incidents to report. However, we do still have at 94 North, the ramp from Ryan Road. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled FedEx truck. Now it is off on the side of the road. The traffic is moving through there, but every once in a while people slow down to take a look at it. It's not going anywhere. Just stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Partly cloudy, warm and humid with a chance of showers and storms, a high of 90. Tonight, scattered showers and storms, a low of 69. For your Friday, a slight chance of morning showers and then afternoon sunshine, a high of 80. For your Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 83. Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid with a chance of afternoon thunderstorms, a high of 90. And for Monday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain, a high of 87. Right now in Delavan, it's 85. In Plymouth, it's 69. And in Milwaukee, it's partly cloudy and 66 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1034.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar. I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text RADIO to 52886. And tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend.
the best way to remove urine from a mattress is to trade in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasselus Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. And that's on top of our everyday low prices.
Come on, everybody says lowest prices.
Others sell a Sealy Posturepedic Queen Emeryville A mattress for $12.68. Hasselus sells it for $10.34. But through Monday, it's just $7.86. And check out the low prices on Beautyrest and more. Plus, free next day delivery.
What does my friend do with his old soaked mattress?
We haul it away for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
I'm gonna fall hard, yeah, I know I am. When the clouds crack up, I laugh with them. There ain't no man.
Oh, happy Thursday, everybody. It's week winding down as I've only been here for a couple
I was going to say,
days.
you've only been here for a day.
I'm ready for the weekend already, but we have a full show, full hour and a half left, plus an hour or two tomorrow to kick in before we head to the weekend, which is looking lovely weather-wise, which I got to catch up on.
You missed the heat wave.
I did.
How was the weather in Scotland?
60s and 70s. Gorgeous. As should be when you're on vacation. I just want to go back real quickly. I know there's other things we want to talk about, but that important conversation happens because of frustration. This should have been done a long time ago. And our friend Bill McCoshen has been one of the people who have been outspoken on, and he's, last time I checked, a conservative Republican. Get this done. I understand that people get in the way, and the representative, as politics are, they don't call anybody out. I get how it works. I don't like that, though. And the bottom line is this is a classic problem with our current state of politics. Refusal of legislators to understand there is long-term benefit from making critical decisions early in a process, including breast cancer screening, that save you millions of dollars, even though at the front end you got to put up some cash. And that inability to understand it makes me wonder how smart you actually are, because it does make sense. I don't think Linda mentioned it when she was with us, but her care has cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars. When on the front end, when she got all these screenings that said, oh, you're just fine, but she wasn't. An MRI could have potentially changed that story. So $600, $1,000, a couple $1,000 screening van, a really detailed, dense breast tissue screening could have saved everybody, insurance companies, Linda, everybody else, millions of dollars. Short-term ignorance, long-term gain. And I'm going to believe that till the day I die. That it's something that should have happened already. So anybody who's in the way, and the representative politically didn't call anybody out, but if you're on the side that says no and you're using the slippery slope argument, that's stupid. Don't do that anymore. It does save lives. It does save money, which last time I checked is sort of the goal of most legislators. So that's my take on
It's a good take.
an important conversation, one that should be had more often. And here's the deal. We're going to stay on this because all of us know people. I have friends. I have women that I know that have dealt with this. I know women who have passed away from this because they're not working for all of us, including those women who are dying and suffering for no reason other than your short-sightedness in this weird illusion that you're somehow saving us money when you're not. So be smarter than that. All right.
All right, Steve.
All right. Hard pivot. You got me all worked up on
I know. I think I got you like a little emotional.
Well, it's silly to me.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised where I stand on this as far as, and it's not even, obviously, there's always the economics of all of it, but it's just the fact that how is healthcare this hard in our country? That we have this many sick people and it costs us this much money all of the time out of pocket, and the conversation and the debates and the pleading with insurance companies just for us to be able to get care. And it's one of those things where you have a lot of problems until you get sick, and then you have one problem.
Yeah.
It's your only problem.
Yeah.
And so many of us, if you live long enough, you're going to have to deal with that. And some people, it's much later in life than earlier in life. But just the compassion for knowing what it's like when you get some kind of diagnosis like that, and then you have to add on the financial burden of all of it on top of just fighting for your life.
It's piling on when those people are the last people that need that. And you're just sort of taking advantage because of your position to say, well, we have to think of the right, all the rights of the taxpayers. You know what? Most taxpayers have dealt with this situation in some fashion, whether it's a family member, what's a friend or a neighbor, whatever. They understand the issue. And I would argue that if you put this up to a vote, it would pass overwhelmingly. So if you're on the no side on Gail's bill, Gail's law, you're not in the right. You're in the wrong. Maybe start understanding that. Maybe have a better fiscal responsibility long-term versus whatever short-term thing you seem to be playing here. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll pivot to some other stories. I just wanted to get that out there, and this was an important conversation that we will continue to talk about on this program, which is Point Taken. She's Chris, and I'm Steve, and this is the biggest stick in the state, regardless of what anybody tells you.
Where'd that come from?
I just felt like saying it. Every once in a while, I like to just preach. I should have been a pastor or a priest.
Every once in a while?
Oh, look at that editorial comment insert into my exit from this segment. All right. Quick break. 620 WTMJ.
Start your weekend tonight with a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club, the most beautiful and affordable summer dining destination. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and I love the Fox and Hounds. It's a special place for our family. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, or buy one, get one free. I love the grasshopper, the Bailey's drink. Oh, my gosh. Buy one, get one free. Order a smothered sirloin, grilled salmon, the new beef short rib mac and cheese, pasta, a big fresh salad, any entree, your second dinner is free. 7 nights a week. Relax with a cold beverage on the patio in the woods, then your free dinner in one of the 8 beautiful, unique dining rooms. The award-winning Fox and Hound Supper Club, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. The drive through the Kettle Moraine is a Wisconsin summer must-see. Weekends might be too busy? Check out your free dinner tonight. Don't cook, go out for drinks and a free delicious dinner. Tables are open. Check it out. It's my favorite place. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'm gonna put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that? I'm gonna give you a ticket. Bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh my God. Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I think the Wisconsin Supreme Court maybe surprised some people yesterday. Did they surprise you, Steve?
No, I thought this was an easy one. The governor, he just picked the maps.
All right.
So it's like, I know some people are fired up. Hey, they're gonna make this fair and all that.
So if you remember, one of the reasons why the Wisconsin Supreme Court race was such a national hot button issue, both this was admitted from Elon Musk, Hakeem Jeffries said the same thing of why this was so important was because depending on who won the race, it was going to impact the case of the Wisconsin Supreme Court looking at our congressional maps ahead of the 2026 midterms.
Right.
Now, I always kind of called BS on that because, one, they had already rejected that case before, and two, there hadn't even been a case filed, and we were waiting on. So there was a new case filed as soon as Susan Crawford won by the Elias Law Group. And yesterday, lo and behold, despite the liberal majority, the Wisconsin Supreme Court rejects bid to reconsider congressional maps. And so, I don't know if that surprises people or not. I think for the optics of everything, it looks good as far as their ability to maintain being a objective court, and they're not just, bowing to Democrats and trying to rig things for Democrats. But as you said, what people might forget is that when the legislative maps got challenged, it wasn't both sets, because first it was Governor Evers had drawn both maps.
Mm-hmm.
And then the challenge came that ended up going up to the Supreme Court and came back down of how they ended up choosing the Republican maps back in 2022. It wasn't both sets. It was just one. So the maps that we have were drawn with the least change criteria by Governor Evers.
Yeah, and I think most Democrats would agree that they've made progress in their sort of quest to sort of take back the legislature. Their words, not mine. And I think they feel like it's fairer. Would you
in the
agree?
legislature? Yeah. It was hard to get less fair than it was.
But I think
yes.
if you're a Democrat, you're moving in the right direction as far as how the districts are drawn. This one, again, seemed like a no-brainer because this was Evers' lines, right? So I don't know that...
I mean, what they were arguing as far as the criteria how they were going to pick the maps was going into the least change from the prior maps, and you can challenge on whether or not that was a constitutional criteria or whatever. But it's also like, I don't know, we'd have two competitive districts, put up a good candidate, and let's see what happens next year.
Yeah.
But the other thing was there was also a unanimous opinion Wednesday from the Wisconsin Supreme Court that ruled against Governor Tony Evers in his partial veto authority when it came to the $50 million that was supposed to go to the Department of Public Instruction on this fight over how to fund the science of reading, right? Have you covered this much? I know I've covered
a little
it.
bit. And I don't even know if I fully understand this. I know that there's a pile of money they've been sitting on. I've had people who come on and advocate for the release of that money. Others have said, well, we're not ready to do that. I mean, this is back and forth between both sides.
So it's basically, well, what the fight over is that everyone, I think, can finally agree that the approaching things with the science of reading and bringing back phonics is a good thing.
Absolutely.
And so that was passed in 2023 as far as we're moving forward. Then there's this pile of money and how it's earmarked, that how to spend that money is the fight now.
Does that surprise you that they argue about, okay, so we agreed we could do this, but now we're going to argue about how we do this and how we spend the money?
Well, and
it just frustrates me.
And I understand, and I totally understand that if this was an overreach, and it was a unanimous decision that Governor Evers, it was an overreach. But there's also just a part of me that sometimes, all right, when we think of who we elect and the variety for the state legislature and the variety of backgrounds they have of their careers before being elected. We talked to Representative Ned Wesky earlier. She's a financial advisor. So she has a brain for finance, for money. We've talked to people who were teachers before. It's like, and so they bring different experience to the table. But then when you talk about how to spend money for a program, do you want people who were like real estate developers or you want the people who are actually their job is public instruction?
Should they listen to the experts?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, who do you want making the decisions of how the money is best spent? And you can say you think that there's waste in public instruction and everything like that. And so I'm not saying who's better, who's worse, but I'm just saying are people who have better expertise of how the money is best spent and who gets to make that decision.
How about this way of looking at it? Regardless of what the issue is, whether it's funding for breast cancer that we talked about earlier, or budget decisions, reading, how we do things at the federal level, I don't want one person ever being totally in charge of that decision, whether that's the president, governor of the state of Wisconsin, speaker of the state assembly. One person is not smart enough or should never have the power to just hold up something that most of us believe is the right
Should they
way.
have the power to block something from happening?
Yeah, which is basically what's happening. I don't like it. And until all of you, including the texters who both love and hate me in the last 6 texts, and thanks for both the love and the hate, because that's my wheelhouse right there. That means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
You think I'm a less divisive person than you?
On some days. Not always, but on some days. But look, if you're the
obstacle?
The obstacle, it might be you. Look in the mirror, as Mike Ditka said many, many years ago, talking about the critics. Look in the mirror. It might be you. And that goes to all the people I just mentioned.
Anyways, back to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And do you think that this is enough to quiet some of the critics as far as them proving that they're not always just going, despite being a liberal majority, that they're not always going to side with? Okay.
They're going to take the win and then complain about them tomorrow or today. It's the silliness of Squawk Radio or Squawk TV.
As soon as the abortion case comes out, it's back to just the activist justices.
They always ignore the stuff that goes their way. Well, they finally made the right decision, but tomorrow I'm going to hate them just as much. That's the stupidity of all of this. This is where I, as someone who does what you and I are doing right now, gets frustrated by just the. Here's the reality. Here, this is a lecture. I know you hate when I lecture whoever that texter was. I'm going to lecture you now. Most of the people doing what Kristen and I do have no life experience outside of doing this. You've lived a life. I've lived a life. I've done other things. I worked in the private sector. I was a public official. I have experience. My whole experience is not jabbering into a mouth because I think it's popular or it's going to fire my base up. That's stupid. But we've lived this life now for the last 30 or 40 years where that's what people want to hear. God, I love that guy. Mostly guys doing this. For all the stupid reasons you love anything. It's like, oh, that's the way I think. How about thinking a little smarter? How about listening a little better? There's my lecture. Quick break.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's Steve Scafidi. I've been on this weight loss journey since mid-January, and I'm currently in the maintenance phase, hitting my goal of losing, get this, 40 pounds. I reached my weight loss goal fast, easy, and safely, and I'm going to continue working with the wonderful team, Milwaukee Weight Loss.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
It's time to find great summer values at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We have everything you need to get out and celebrate the season at unbeatable farm and fleet prices. Like 20-pound bags of Blaine's brand wild bird food. Rewards members get 2 for $12. Select Beyond Breeze high-velocity fans, $34.99. All American flags are on sale, 15% off. Plus, we offer Blaine's best price promise, guaranteeing you'll always find the lowest price with us or we'll match it. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. Nobody can keep your car running smoothly like an Adam new car dealer. Adam service technicians are factory trained and use original factory parts backed by a warranty. Best of all, you'll find competitive pricing equal to or even lower than independent shops. A well-maintained car delivers maximum gas mileage and saves you money. Call an Adam dealer today, because you're always better off at an Adam new car dealer.
Get an oil change and safety inspection today.
State
Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I know the love that I deserve. All right, one of the things that also happened, maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. Maybe you were in the plane as this came out. But earlier this week, Governor Tony Evers said he will not sign a budget that does not fund child care accounts.
Right.
My Journal-Sentinel op-ed for the week is saying this was the right thing to do. This is the proverbial sandbox, drawing a line in the sandbox. That was one of my jokes. And so I've talked about this many times. I talked about it with Brian Reisinger when he was here on Tuesday, that we talk about economics of just there's been economists who have come out and said, for every dollar you put into childcare, you get $13 back.
Yeah.
And so I say that this is a very good thing to back and say this is the budget standoff. Where do you stand on this?
I agree with you on that issue. I think the governor is not going to get what he wants in a budget.
I know.
If we get a budget.
That's what if he's not bluffing, and if they don't fund it and he doesn't sign it, then I think this could be it. Because I was having this conversation. I was like, do you think, because it's very popular. It's a very popular piece of legislation as far as people, even without kids, understanding the obscene cost of it, right? And so it feels like an easy win for Republicans, but the more people I talk to, they're like, they're not going to do it.
It's the same argument I made before. Investment on the front end should reduce your investment on the back end, but no one seems to understand this stuff anymore because it's all simplistic politics nonsense. It's an easy one. You have to give people the ability to get out and work in the workforce and give them the flexibility they need to make that a viable option for them versus the alternative where they can't make ends meet and leads to a whole nother set of problems both for the individual and for society. It's again, it requires a more complex way of looking at issues. The governor's got a problem here. One, people don't know if he's running. Two, I'm not sure he's going to get any kind of a budget that's going to make sense for him. Now, they've worked it out in the past. Maybe they'll do it again. I don't know. But this seems to be like sort of late in the game here. And I guess the law is you go back to the last budget and maybe that's good enough. I don't know. But it's not going to.
Well, it doesn't seem like the Senate has figured it out either. No, it's not even like there's unity on the Republicans and the Joint Finance Committee to move forward in the fight just being with Governor Evers. There's fighting within their own ranks.
Yeah. We got a good 11 o'clock hour coming up, too.
Jeremy Jean.
Yeah. He's always good. Local news, urbanmilwaukee.com.
Interesting
and then
stories.
An interesting story to start the hour, which, who's your daddy? I guess is the easiest way to tease that.
Daddy?
Call him daddy. We'll get to that. Kristen and Steve, point taken on 620 WTMJ.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things. Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then, the first 25,000 fans at the game on Saturday, June 28th, get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Summer savings don't get any better than Colder's 4th of July weekend sale. From June 20th to July 7th, shop Colder's. Unbeatable deals store-wide and save thousands on your next home upgrade. At Colder's, they guarantee that you're getting the best deal in town, but during their 4th of July weekend sale, you can stack your discounts for even more savings. Save 60% on furniture and mattresses. Take an additional 10% off. Wow, that's a great deal. I've just shopped at Colder's. Great service, great showrooms. You're going to love it. Plus, you can save on appliances, too. Take an additional 5% off on top appliance deals you won't find anywhere else. Colder's has a huge selection of kitchen and laundry appliances from all your favorite brands, and you're guaranteed to get the best price only at Colder's. There are 4 Colders locations: West Dallas, Oak Creek, Delafield, and Grafton. Hurry on in or shop online at Colders.com. Don't miss out on their 4th of July weekend sale going on from June 20th to July 7th.
Get more for your money, Colders.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? We are too. At Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. We're proud to be your one true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. That's right in your backyard. Whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have tailored solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank at Wintrust.com. Wintrust, different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp Banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The biggest gig in the world has finally returned. Summerfest is here, and WTMJ will be broadcasting live from the Pillow Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio, right on the lakefront. Come by, say hi. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
64 degrees right now in Milwaukee this hour. I'm Julia Fellow. Tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy, warm, humid, a chance of showers and storms throughout the day. 84 is your high at the lake, 90 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a tragedy in Green Lake.
Attention, Green Lake Primary First Responders. Your calls to 512 Hill Street. Again, 512 Hill Street for a young child that's trapped under a car with a tire on his neck. KSP 267.
A 12-year-old child was killed after being hit by a car while riding his bike in the city of Green Lake yesterday. The family identified the child to our partners at NB26 as Emmett Zadro. Police say the driver went up the curb while trying to pull into an angle parking spot and hit the 12-year-old on the sidewalk. It's unclear if the driver will face charges. The Wisconsin Supreme Court agrees with the legislature over the governor's use of a partial veto.
The court ruled Wednesday that Governor Tony Evers improperly used his partial veto on a bill that detailed the plan for spending on new literacy programs for K-12 students. The court also sided with the legislature and said the Budget Committee can legally put money into an emergency fund to be distributed later. That is currently being done with the $50 million for the literacy program. Governor Evers had argued such a move was unconstitutional. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
And in national news, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that South Carolina can bar Planned Parenthood access to federal Medicaid funding for non-abortion services. This decision allows states to ban the organization from getting Medicaid reimbursements for cancer screenings and other care that is not related to abortion. Robin Nunn is a trial attorney and legal analyst.
And this decision involves South Carolina may remove Planned Parenthood from its state Medicaid program. But that was a pretty large one that, folks have been thinking about for some time.
And public health care money in general, she says, cannot be used to pay for abortions. The big, beautiful bill. Republican lawmakers continue to push for the passage of President Trump's spending bill by the 4th of July, but the measure just hit a major speed bump. CBS correspondent Nicole Killian.
This bill is still being evaluated by the Senate parliamentarian because the parliamentarian has to decide whether or not this bill meets the required budgetary rules to move forward as a piece of reconciliation, which is the vehicle for this particular bill. That being said, we know that the parliamentarian issued a ruling basically knocking out some portions of the Medicaid component of this bill as it relates to provider taxes.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green. The Dow is up 305 at 43,296. S&P 500 up 41. NASDAQ is up 150. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight. just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Erica, it's good to see you.
How are things at our amazing Germantown location?
Absolutely fantastic.
We heard you had a bold idea. What is it?
We're celebrating our 45th year in business, so I think we should give away some natural diamonds.
Wow, that is a bold idea. How many and how big?
3/4 of a carat. 9 natural diamonds, each one clarity enhanced for maximum brilliance. 1 diamond for each store.
How should we mount them, Erica?
We'll give them away as diamond pendants.
So each of the 9 Kessler stores will have their own diamond pendant to give away?
Yeah, and all a person will have to do is to walk into a store and register to win.
Can a person travel to all 9 stores and register at each one?
Yeah, why not? And people will have from now until July 28th to register.
I'm in.
Me too.
It's unanimous, and people should bring in all their old jewelry so that we can professionally clean it for them for free.
That makes so much difference.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Wisconsin Lutheran grad Con Knuppel was the 4th overall pick yesterday in round 1 of the NBA draft, selected by the Charlotte Hornets. This makes him the highest draft pick ever selected from our state. The Milwaukee Bucks still have the 47th pick overall in the draft, will make their selection today. And the Brewers had the day off after the Miz helped outduel the Pirates at American Family Field yesterday, defeating the Pirates 4-2. Let's take your roads through WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. All that I see right now is 94 westbound at Moreland Road. The right shoulder's blocked because there is a disabled vehicle. Everything else looks good. Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, scattered showers and storms are possible, a low of 69. A slight chance of morning showers, then afternoon sunshine tomorrow, a high of 80. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 80. Sunday, hot and humid. Afternoon chance of thunderstorms. Sunday, a high of 90 degrees. Monday, a slight rain chance, a high of 87. Right now in Madison, it's 80 degrees. Green Bay, 64 degrees. And Milwaukee, mostly cloudy and 64 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:07.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of Point Taken. Steve, have you ever been a suck up at work? Have you ever been in a position where you're like, flattery is going to get me further?
No, but I know a lot of them.
You do?
Oh, especially here.
All right. Well, it seems that NATO's chief is putting the suck-up theory to the test when it comes to President Trump. So the NATO summit is this week.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I think I first saw the reaction from Marco Rubio and Donald Trump. But apparently, so we also played, was it yesterday or Tuesday, that the Trump's reaction, he dropped the F-bomb.
I was not here.
You were not here. So that was Tuesday. So after the president's outburst over Israel and Iran for continuing strikes despite the ceasefire, Mark Rutte, who is the Secretary General of NATO, offered this gem. He said, "Daddy has to sometimes use strong language." What?
Boy, that's some high-level conversation there.
And so immediately, of course, my millennial girl brain goes to call him daddy, which is, of course, the one and only Alex Cooper.
Welcome back to another episode.
Daddy gang. All right. So in response to this, so of course, it was also the fact that he called him Dear Donald and, Mr. Trump. And there was a lot of flattery that was going into that, including the daddy. So Mark Rutte was asked about this. And Yeah.
Today you called him Daddy, and you sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel you have to act when doing business with the US president, through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning, and doesn't it make you look weak?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste, but I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments.
So that was his defense, I guess. It didn't really address the daddy part. But then when Trump was asked this, what you can't see, because we're on radio, is Marco Rubio in the background just... I've never seen him laugh this hard, if I'm being totally honest.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
But he
did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
So weird. The whole thing is so weird. It's because it's the whole... You know the background of that word used in
porn?
Yeah, yes, sexually.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was a weird thing, and I don't know what's going on in the Netherlands, if that's more of an affectionate term, the way that a certain CUNT is more of an affectionate term in like Australia and UK than it is here. But it is odd to me. But what are you going to say?
At a baseline level. When she asked him the question, are you essentially sucking up or whatever, how she asked it, the correct answer would have been, yeah, pretty much. And then left it at that.
But here's my next point of it worked. I mean, basically what I read is that President Donald Trump has now issued a full-throated endorsement of NATO and its defense mission after this summit this week. And so to a certain extent, I was like, well, flattery will get you somewhere.
So basically, if you kiss his beep, you can get away with
what you want?
Get what you want. Is that what we're learning here? Is this a win for anybody? It's a win for people who like stupidity, I guess. Because this is base level stupidity. It's just nonsense. We're talking about weird terminology that the President of the United States and others are using when we're supposed to be talking about high level, really important negotiations involving strategic defense. Instead, we get
questions about who's your daddy.
Who's your daddy? Yeah.
Are you familiar with zaddy?
Huh?
The term zaddy?
No.
With a Z?
No.
All right.
Should I be?
I'll brief you with that in the commercial break.
Not appropriate for broadcast?
All right. When we come back, the one, the only Jeremy Janine from Urban Milwaukee will join us to talk all things happening around the Brew City. Stay with us. It's Point Taken.
The biggest gig in the world has finally returned. Summerfest is here, and WTMJ will be broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio, right on the lakefront. Come by, say hi, meet your favorite WTMJ hosts. It's WTMJ at Summerfest all fest long. We are Wisconsin's radio station, WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scafidi. For Advent snoring, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep, don't put up with that. Do something about it. Get up off your chair or your bed, out of your bed, and do something about that poor sleep and whatever you do for a living. The tired mornings at work. I did something. I went to Advent, quick 30-minute visit, talked to their docs, a couple of them on my first visit, and they figured out for me, along with a simple sleep study, that mine had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages. Easy, common, easy to fix, 30 minutes or less, short procedure. Since that moment, 5+ years ago, breathing better than ever. Thousands of people have gone through the same procedure, and they've also reaped the benefits of those nights where you fall asleep and you wake up rested and refreshed. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Oh, welcome back. But you didn't go anywhere. You're listening to me do that live read for Evan. Yes, I know that because I've been around for a long time. Kristen Bryce, Steve Scavini, Point Taken. And as you all know, on Thursdays, that means in this slot, this segment or 2 or 3, we are joined by Jeremy Janine. You can see his great work at urbanmilwaukee.com. One of the best sources for local news, covering all kinds of stories. What are we leading with today, Jeremy Janine?
Let's talk about roads.
How exciting.
There's a pothole for everyone in Milwaukee.
Certainly are.
Alderman Peter Burgellis forced this conversation to come to a head. It started during the budget debate.
He's been active lately.
He's been active.
He's the flag
lately.
guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in another segment. But
all right. Looking forward to that.
He's also the trampoline guy, another tease for something coming up.
Mm-hmm.
He planted a flag back in the, pun intended, back in the budget debate in September, October, and November of last year about, Milwaukee, its roads are in bad shape. What would it take to actually fix the roads that the Engineering Quality Index labels as poor? And how many of those roads are there? And it turns out more than 25% of Milwaukee streets are labeled as poor condition. And there's a couple different reasons for that, like how we have gotten to this point right now. But the key thing is it would take, and this was the number Peter Burgellis wanted, $820 million to eliminate all those poor streets. $750 million, so almost all of that money, will be needed to fix streets that are local side streets in front of your house. So we're not talking about Oklahoma Avenue or Interstate 43.
Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac, even like a Prospect Avenue. Lots of people live on Prospect Avenue, but it's technically State Highway 32. We're talking about these side streets. That's where Milwaukee's problem is. Well, how we got here is in the 1990s, John Norquist, to his credit and now to his detriment, had this, I don't want to raise taxes, I want to make the city a livable place. Well, he did all kinds of policy things like, let's just not fund some local road repair. We'll save money. Well, now that bill is coming due, but it's also coming due as all these other streets have degraded. There was a problem kind of in the Norquist era and then early in Tom Barrett's tenure where they did special assessments for roads. So if the road was being rebuilt in front of your house, you were going to get a special fee for that. Well, a lot of people cried poor and were like, just don't rebuild the road in front of my house. So that created a bigger backlog. So the city started to tackle this in 2008 with the vehicle registration fee. They've increased the vehicle registration fee now to $30 a year. But the hole is just so big that the list grows longer every year than getting shorter. So the city is, to its credit, doing a good job with state and federal funding, replacing these major roads. The side roads are in terrible shape.
Generally, ignoring something is not a good way to sort of resolve it. As somebody who used to kind of lead these conversations, albeit in a suburb, these are important conversations because it impacts everybody who lives in your city and works in your city because they're driving these roads every day. I know there's a sort of a critical assessment, poor, very poor, okay. I'm simplifying because there's like really specific terms. Given the options available, registration fees, wheel tax, obviously some of the other options they can figure out asking for funding, which the state sort of ignores the local roads. What are we doing here? What are we going to do to sort of address this specifically?
That is the challenge. Kevin Muse, city engineer, laid out four options. None of them are good options. The city is spending $60 million a year repairing, rebuilding roads, but most of that money, because it's state and federal dollars, is going to these big roads. So you have to raise this local money. You can expand the vehicle registration fee. Well, Scott Spiker immediately was like, that'll be the last vote we take because we'll all be voted out of office. You can go begging the state for more money. They're not likely to give you more. For local roads, the state gives the city of Milwaukee $1 million every other year. They give the state
other year.
They give the state lots of money to fix big streets, even the Prospect Avenue stuff. There's the local roads, you're on your own, and that's a problem across Wisconsin. There's also what is a transportation utility, but the Wisconsin Supreme Court, even in its liberal configuration, has struck that down. Kevin Muse floated the idea of using that to charge on a per parking space basis. The idea there is these big Amazon trucks we see that are now going on our side streets, delivering us stuff. They're doing more damage, but they're not registered in the city of Milwaukee. So that vehicle registration fee, they're not paying.
Oh.
And so there's just not many good options.
Have you ever seen these stories? CBS has done a lot of these over the years on these vigilante road repairs where people do make art projects out of them on their own streets.
Oh, like paint inside of them and stuff on the potholes?
Yeah, they're sick and tired of all the non-activity on this issue.
That's actually a great thing to talk about because in the city of Milwaukee,
I know that's why I asked.
You're a good host. There is no shortage of money to actually replace the potholes. There is a shortage of people reporting them. So if you have a pothole, you don't have to paint a phallic object on it like people are doing in other cities, you can just go to the city's form and fill it out, and it will eventually get fixed.
Where do people find that form?
It's on the Department of Public Works website.
Okay.
There's also the Click to Action smartphone app, but just search Milwaukee Pothole Repair. You will find it. It's a pretty easy form. You can even send in a photo. I do it a fair amount, and they actually get fixed.
Of course you do.
One down the street from my house, I got a whole series of potholes fixed recently.
Is it a totally different set of money when we talk about fixing sidewalks?
It kind of comes from the same pool.
Does it? Because I live in a neighborhood that, and pushing a stroller, do not put coffee in the cup holder, in the stroller, in my neighborhood, because that will fly everywhere.
Similar.
It is not shock absorbent because the sidewalks are insane. How crooked and I never knew like where it comes from and how do they decide which ones they fix.
So going back to the Norquist era again, John Norquist wrote a book, so we kind of laid all this out in the 90s that, we don't fix the sidewalks until they're a half-inch apart instead of a quarter-inch apart, and that saved us $500,000 a year. Well, that backlog, again, is now coming due. You can, again, report sidewalks that the different squares are different heights, but good luck getting a very fast repair. Potholes get fixed much faster.
Because they can actually grind the edge and make them smoother.
That's exactly what they do.
Not perfect, but smoother. Or they can replace in some things. They can also, in some circumstances, assess the homeowners if they own the property.
Can't they also just not plant maple trees that have huge roots that screw up the sidewalks?
I mean, we're talking about decisions made 50 years ago.
Yeah, short-sighted to say, hey, look at that cool maple tree. Oh, yeah, it disrupts it breaks our sidewalks up and makes life miserable in the city. All right, we're just getting warmed up with Jerry Magini. You can find his great work at urbanmilwaukee.com. Always a source for all things Milwaukee and sometimes beyond. That's Jeremy. He's going to be back after this message on 620 WTMJ.
Fixing the damn roads and so much more.
Start your weekend tonight with a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club, the most beautiful and affordable summer dining destination. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and I love the Fox and Hounds. It's a special place for our family. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Desserts and ice cream drinks are buy one, get one free. I love the grasshopper, the Bailey's drink. Oh my gosh, buy one, get one free. Order a smothered sirloin, grilled salmon, the new beef short rib mac and cheese, pasta, a big fresh salad, any entree, your second dinner is free. 7 nights a week. Relax with a cold beverage on the patio in the woods, then your free dinner in one of the 8 beautiful, unique dining rooms. The award-winning Fox and Hound Supper Club, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. The drive through the Kettle Moraine is a Wisconsin summer must-see. Weekends might be too busy? Check out your free dinner tonight. Don't cook, go out for drinks and a free delicious dinner. Tables are open. Check it out. It's my favorite place. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, J&B Construction. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasseless Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasseless.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
I want to be closer than you. I know that. Oh,
I can't believe you're not going to go to Summerfest. I'm going tonight. I didn't go at all last weekend.
I love Summerfest. I enjoyed it for many, many years. Just my schedule's very tight.
Busy guy.
got
All
a
right.
lot of engagements.
Another busy guy. Jeremy Janine, Urban Milwaukee. All right, let's talk about this. I wasn't aware that there was Milwaukee Women part of this program, but as the Democratic Socialist in New York is very popular this week, talking about some of these radical programs. This, I think, to some people would be considered a very radical program, giving moms unrestricted cash payments to improve their lives. What do we know about the impact that this program has had on the women who are taking part of it?
Sure. Let's set the stage for what this is. The Zilber Family Foundation, a Milwaukee foundation, contracted with the Bridge Project out of New York, so it's a mom-dommy import already, to bring this program to Milwaukee. The idea was the Zilber was going to fund it with almost $2 million for 2 years to low-income mothers in targeted zip codes. And those zip codes are the areas the Zilber Family Foundation serves already on the near west side, near north side, near south side. About 100 mothers wanted to just give them cash payments, and I'll pull them up the figures in front of me. $1,100 payment to prenatal mothers up front, then $750 per month for the first 15 months, and then they got additional money, and we'll talk about the city's role in this, $375 per month for the final 21 months. So you're giving mothers several $1,000s for the first 36 years of your life. The Bridge
36 months.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, dang.
First 3 years, 36 months of
Your child's life.
Yeah, of the child's life. You're actually starting the money shortly before the child is born. You have to be low income to qualify. The city of Milwaukee, led by Marina Dmitrievich, as part of this grand bargain on other stuff, contributed $350,000 in city money. It was essentially some federal funds that they did a sleight of hand trick, but the city contributed public dollars to supplement this. There were some anonymous donors, so 122 mothers in Milwaukee are getting this money. We know, I'll give you some quick figures on who they are. The average participant in Milwaukee's cohort is 28 years old. The majority of the participants identify as Black, 62%, followed by Hispanic, 34%, and white, 19%. 90% say English is their primary language. And just the requirements, they had to be at least 18 years old and less than 24 weeks into their pregnancy. They started receiving the stipends, and pretty dramatic reductions in the amount of food insecurity that they're reporting. Went from 60% down to 50%, so you move that needle. And then housing insecurity dropped from, and I'm trying to get the number right in front of me, 60%, nope, that's not the right number. Well, anyways, 17%, sorry. 17% of women previously were reporting some level of homelessness or housing insecurity. That went down to 6%.
Oh, wow.
So a dramatic reduction there in people experiencing homelessness. Now, you would expect that. You're just writing them cash, or giving them cash. Marina Dmitrievich said, if we make these investments, we really can turn things around, and the metrics are expanding. There is a full report that if you're interested in this, actually read the report. It's got lots of details from the Bridge Project. They've really invested in tracking who these women are, what they're spending their money on. But it's a pattern they're seeing. The Bridge Project is now in 8 states. They're seeing the same pattern play out in other states. So it does cost money, but they're saying it's really efficient spending of money. There's not all these layers. You're just giving people money, and it shows they're making good decisions.
And no surprise to you, but Zilber has done some outstanding work in this community. I've known some of those folks for a long time. They step up when maybe other programs don't, or they hit a need that's maybe being missed. And I don't often agree with her, but Marina Dmitrievich, I think this is a sort of way to address a serious issue, help some moms, certainly help their children sort of move past poverty and sort of maybe set their course on the straight and narrow.
Yes, and so this is a 3-year program. We're 1 year in, so we only have kind of this early data now. The Bridge Project's been doing it for a little bit longer in New York City and some other places. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of what happens in these next 2 years. Do the mothers continue to spend the money? Wisely seems like a judgmental word. Do they spend it in a way that improves their lives? So far, the answer is yes. Does that continue? Examples otherwise suggest it should. Now the question becomes, does the city want to keep funding this? The Zilber Family Foundation has made it clear they want to continue with this, but to really make an impact, they need other partners to come with them.
Because I would imagine you also want to expand the program, if it's working, to more than 122 women.
Yes, absolutely.
Which would obviously take more money.
Baby steps.
The one thing I want to point out, the Bridge Project noted that their average participant has an income of $16,800. In Milwaukee, it's only $7,000. So a lot of those women that are participating just aren't working and are like their whole household isn't working and need that income. The households in Milwaukee are also larger, and they don't quite know exactly why that is, but in Milwaukee, there's just more kids in the household.
Any movement on my idea last time to put that stupid boat up against the calling on the end of Wisconsin Avenue? Is there sort of a movement forward on that?
We had a secret committee meeting while you were in Scotland, and we agreed to meet again.
All right, so there's progress there. Dumbass boat. All right, we are just getting...
You were on one today.
Yeah.
You were extra cranky today.
All right. Is that cranky or is it just smart? All right. 11:30, we've got some more Jeremy, including an update on the Iron Horse Hotel, which I think is a fantastic property. We'll see where that's going to go. And some other great stories about local politics in Milwaukee and the stories that affect all of us who live, work, and play here. And, of course, Summerfest kicking up second weekend tonight. We got local news with the always outstanding Julia Fellow. And before we get to any of that now, here it is from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Newly replaced members of a CDC vaccine advisory panel are meeting for a second day and voted to recommend an RSV antibody shot for newborns. ABC's Phil Lipoff has details.
It's a long-lasting antibody created in a lab. And if it's signed off on, usually the CDC director has to sign off on it, but because there's no CDC director right now, HHS Secretary Kennedy would have to sign off on it. If he does sign off on it, it will be offered to babies younger than 8 months old who were born during or just prior to the RSV season in the fall or winter, and it would obviously be to protect them.
The Pentagon says a CIA assessment shows U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites severely damaged Iran's nuclear capabilities. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth rejecting an initial U.S. intel assessment that found Iran's nuclear program was set back just months. Closing arguments underway today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial in New York City, now in its 6th week. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Julia Fellow. This just into our newsroom. A Walworth County Sheriff's deputy is expected to be just fine after he says his squad car was hit by a distracted driver. It happened last night in the town of Darien. A car was speeding on 43 near Highway X when it rear-ended the squad. The 41-year-old Kristen Belangshaw of Geneva says that she was eating Taco Bell and wasn't paying attention when it happened. She was going up to 60 miles an hour when this took place. The deputy was treated at the hospital for minor injuries. You can see the banged-up squad car at WTMJ.com right now. A 12-year-old child was killed after being hit by a car while riding his bike in Green Lake yesterday. Family identified the child to our partners at NBC 26 as Emmett Zadro. Police say the driver went up over the curb while trying to pull into an angled parking spot and hit the child on the sidewalk. It is unclear if the child will face charges. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green. The Dow is up 354 at 43,336. S&P 500 up 42. NASDAQ up 145. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. All right, let's tickle your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 4194 north of the ramp from Ryan Road. The right shoulder is blocked because of disabled vehicle. There's some slowdowns there. Everything looks just fine. Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy, warm and humid, a chance of showers and storms throughout today. The high will be 84 at the lake, 90 inland. Tonight, scattered showers and storms, low of 69. Friday, a slight chance of morning showers, afternoon sunshine, a high of 80. Then for your weekend, partly cloudy Saturday, a high of 80. Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid. Afternoon chances of thunderstorms, a high of 90. Monday, partly cloudy, a slight rain chance, a high of 87. Right now in Madison, it's 80 degrees, Green Bay 64, and Milwaukee 70 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply. For an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
Oh, we are in the city, talking city with Jeremy Janine. UrbanMilwaukee.com is where you can find his great work. Always on top of all stories. This one intrigues me because I've eaten at the Iron Horse. I haven't stayed there, but I've been around that hotel for events and stuff.
I've actually never been to the Iron Horse.
Oh,
I don't know how
it's sort of a cool place, but
Yeah.
they've had a lot of financial problems, and you're going to give us a sort of an update on where they currently sit.
Yes, the Iron Horse Hotel, 500 West Florida Street. If you're looking for it, though, if you're at the Harley-Davidson Museum, look south. You see the big Iron Horse Hotel neon sign. In the winter, I always get a kick out of they just light it up to say ho ho. It's good Santa reference there. But Tim Dixon has been fighting off the Iron Horse Hotel owner and developer since 2021. Has been fighting off a foreclosure lawsuit. He appears to have finally lost. A foreclosure judgment was entered against him on Monday. The 100-room boutique high-end hotel is now in the hands of its mortgage lender, which appears to be an affiliate of Goldman Sachs. But this bundle of mortgages, and we get into the weird world of hotel finance there. But if that 2021 date probably is significant to you because a lot of hotels were in COVID-19 issues there. A lot of them were able to refinance their debt or returned, essentially gave the hotel to their lender. Dixon tried for a long time. He did Chapter 11 bankruptcy to try and restructure his debt and just never was able to pull that off. It was $24 million in debt. They even tried an auction, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, couldn't get a bid to satisfy that debt. Now it could be headed for a sheriff's auction, and there is a receiver running the hotel at this point, which means there's another company involved that the court said, you take over now.
What if, like, how far is Harley from there? Not far.
Not
right?
far.
The Harley-Davidson Museum? Yeah, it's real close.
I wonder if they could, again, this is just conjecture. I don't know anything about anyone making an inquiry, but that seems like the property they could sort of.
Do you think they want to get in the business of
I don't
hotels?
know. I mean, they do a lot of innovative things, or at least they're trying to sort of figure things out as a company and corporate identity.
Just
so
rent
maybe
it out for homecoming every year?
Hotels are a strange business.
Harley that place up. You know,
Harley could end up the owner because a lot of hotels they have an owner, then they have an operator, and they're not always the same. That's been a unique situation at the Iron Horse. It's not part of a Marriott or Hilton or Hyatt. It's an independent thing. When it changes hands, it will almost certainly remain a hotel. It's in an increasingly good location, but it very well could get affiliated with that Marriott Autograph Collection or Hyatt Tapestry or something.
I love Marriott. I stayed at thousands of them over my 28 years on the road, and I think that would be just fine. I know some people don't like them, but I think they do a great. And I think it should be a hotel. I think it should have a viable.
I mean, what else would it be?
I don't know.
Apartments?
It's a big enough building. It's a 100-year-old, 120-year-old now warehouse that it could be converted to something else. But if you're buying this situation, you're probably looking to get a deal on pennies on the dollar. You're not going to want to throw more money in to try and convert it. You want to it's operating today. Keep operating it, but without the debt that allows you to actually make money now.
You got a quick one before the break? Not the Riverwalk. I want to spend some time on that one.
Sure. Let's look at the council jumped off the trampoline debate. We teased this earlier. I forget if it was all three of us or Steve.
We've talked about it. This is the third week in a row that we've talked about trampolines.
All right, so we'll keep bouncing.
And I don't think my opinion has changed on it as far as
you're enthusiastically in support of trampolines.
No, I just don't think it's that big of an issue inside of Milwaukee. I don't think the concentration of trampolines is very high.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Common Council outside of Peter Bergella seems to agree with you,
Okay.
Kristen. Quoting Alderman DeAndre Jackson, this is something that should be dealt with by homeowners and insurance companies. Steve's favorite socialist, Alderman Alex Brower. What I don't want to see is another tool for the city's bureaucracy to punish people. So 2 different reasons to oppose this policy. Then Alderman Bergelis attempted to introduce a fine. There's already a $500 maximum fine. He wanted to make it a $300 minimum, which had Russell Stamper and others going, wait a minute, what? And so that the whole thing ended up getting held. It's going back to committee. We'll be able to discuss it at least once more, maybe a couple more times.
I will donate to a fund that takes the Alderman Bergelis, is that how you say it?
Yes.
To a trampoline park so he can get his trampoline fix and sort of understand why they like them.
No, the bill isn't banning trampolines.
I know.
It's just saying, like, putting more restrictions on where they can be
I
placed,
get
et
it.
cetera.
But it seems anti-trampoline to me. I want him to bounce around for a few hours in the trampoline park to get his head right, because his head's clearly not right. He's thinking about stuff. Let me just put it this way. He's thinking about things that a lot of us don't spend a lot of time thinking about. Is that correct? Is that a good assessment?
Well, there was also the flag debate at the council meeting
Which we'll come back
initiated
to
by
that,
him.
too.
Yeah, of course. Of course we will. Because that
So what do you
story
want to do
never
next?
ends.
Riverwalk or flag?
Riverwalk. I enjoy the Riverwalk in Milwaukee, and there's developments.
All right.
Some not so good, including a connectivity issue that is troubling to me as a consumer of Riverwalks and a user of such things.
All right, so we'll get to that after
When's
this.
the last time you were on a Riverwalk?
I literally was at the Harbor District groundbreaking.
Of course you were, because you're Miss Events in Milwaukee. Kristen Bry and Steve on Point taken on 620 WTMJ.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the July Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save now during the Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
The big focus in America today on your health, and you're determined to look beyond pills and steroids and surgery to feel your best, right? I want to talk to those who are in pain right now, or maybe it's someone you love. You've done everything they told you to do. The pain just comes back. You're exhausted, but you don't give up. Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi for QC Connects. I was just there yesterday, visited with our medical director and staff. Dr. Ashley Caravelli was awesome, explained everything, had my first treatment. These aren't quick fixes. This is a revolutionary treatment that works to give your body long-term relief. I've got an elbow injury that I'm dealing with. They don't mask the pain. They're going to the very source of it. QC Connects has helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in Milwaukee. They'd be honored to help you as well. You can say goodbye to chronic pain, live your best life, experience what I experienced, great customer care, really explaining the treatments, what you're going to go through, what's going to happen to your body, and the regenerative treatments that take your own body's healing power. That's why I went. That's why you should go as well. Find out if you're a good candidate, free consultation, QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 5.5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Crystal Farm shredded or chunk cheese, 2 for $5. 9 to 16 ounce selected varieties Old Dutch tortilla or crunch chips or salsa, 2 for $5.50. 10 to 10.8 ounce selected varieties Bird's Eye frozen vegetables, 4 for $5. 18 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates or bowls, 2 for $5.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh. Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
Adair Floors has the newest flooring styles. Luxury vinyl flooring in plank and tile looks. Or choose from carpeting, hardwood, and porcelain tile. Flooring for every room in your home. Get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin.
Let me guess, a Summerfest band that I've never heard before, but people will enjoy tonight at our beautiful lakefront Summerfest.
Yeah,
park.
I think Greg and Jessica are getting set up. They're going to be broadcasting live from our Hello Windows and Doors mobile studio at Summerfest.
That's always cool. I missed that.
We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, no one's
You want to
asked.
go do an on-location show somewhere?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do want to. With you, yes. Of course. Any day, anywhere. Of course I do.
I don't think anywhere. I
Well,
think you'd have stipulations.
I would have lots of stipulations, yes.
You'd have green and M&M bowl that you would request.
Oh, yes. I'm going to go that far? I
All
only
right.
want the green ones.
All right, let's talk about the Riverwalk. As I said, there was groundbreaking on the Riverwalk in the Harbor District 2 weeks ago.
June 10th, I think, yeah.
So yeah, 2 weeks ago. And there's something missing though.
There it is. So, good news. Largest one-time ever expansion of Milwaukee's Riverwalk in its history.
That's cool.
4,300 feet. That's like 3/4 of a mile for those of you that are trying to do math in your head.
Tell people where it is so they can come
Yeah,
look forward to it.
absolutely. If you go to the east end of Greenfield Avenue, there is the Harborview Plaza, the park with the shipping container vertical slide, the new Komatsu campus.
Yep.
It'll run the whole way south along the inner harbor down to what is actually Kinnickinnick Avenue at the northern tip of Bayview.
Very cool.
So what seems like an absolutely great link. It's part of the city the downtown Riverwalk exists. It's several miles long now on both sides of the river. The kind of remaining gaps are being filled in. But the city is now expanding the Riverwalk system out to the Inner Harbor, the Harbor District, and into the Menominee Valley, which fits and starts there. But it's going to happen at some point. Well, this is a major step forward, but there's this one problem that I keep trying to bring up in articles, and city officials are like, yeah, we're working on it, but there's railroad tracks that divide the middle of this Riverwalk segment. Little used railroad tracks, but the Riverwalk at the moment will not cross the railroad tracks. So you'll have to go the whole way 2,000 feet down, and then you'll have to turn around and come back. Unless the city is just doing a little wink and a nod thing and you can kind of walk over the railroad tracks, but there won't formally be a Riverwalk there. That's a question that remains to be answered.
How often are trains on the tracks?
Once a week at most.
Oh, really?
twice a
So
week.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So
this-
it's going to be a wink. No one's going to turn around and go back. They're just going to walk over the railroad tracks.
Safely.
Safely, yeah.
Except, as we talked about in a prior segment, there are people with strollers. There are people that might be on bicycles.
Then it gets sort of problematic. Yeah.
The city has already lost a lawsuit almost 2 decades ago now about accessibility on its Riverwalk, which is why we have all these elevators added to it.
So I always get it. I haven't got one yet, but I probably get one. Why do I care about this? I don't go down there. Riverwalks, city walks change the dynamic of central city locations. Louisville, San Antonio. There's like many different versions of the same thing. They bring people. They allow them to see a city, and often it's the connectivity of the waterways to the business part, to the restaurants, to the bars. It's the cool part of coming to Milwaukee. You can walk, as you said, how many miles of this stuff? It's pretty awesome. And whether you live in the city or not, doesn't matter. I'm sure most of our listeners come to Milwaukee for restaurants. I don't know how many times. Bucks games. Dozens of times in the last few years. We have a group of couples that we come to local Milwaukee restaurants, often ones we've never been to before, and then we go on the Riverwalk and just sort of experience the night when it's nice out. It's the cool part of coming to Milwaukee. So these stories matter for that reason. This is a tricky one because I got a railroad ripping through it. Railroads are typically not easy to work with. Trust me, I've worked with them or tried to work with them. They're not the best negotiators when trying to help the city do anything. They care about their own interests. They don't necessarily play well with others. Not indicting them, but these connection points are important because when you can connect pieces of a city, all of a sudden you have people talking to each other again and experiencing things that maybe that neighborhood barrier stopped them from doing before. That's why this stuff matters. These are good things for cities, and that's why we should encourage this stuff.
Yes, when I come to the station, I take Wisconsin Avenue from the east side of downtown over here to the west side. And the one thing that is true in the summer is there are people on that segment of the Milwaukee Riverwalk right there. Oftentimes, I assume they're tourists, so we might not appreciate it as much as locals as we should. But the people that come and stay in Milwaukee, it's definitely a draw for them. It's a wonderful way to get out and see the river. A couple key things about this new segment that's being built. It will not look and feel exactly like the downtown Riverwalk. It's going to be wider, which should be nicer.
That's
It should
cool.
be. It's going to be an extension of Harborview Plaza. At the north end, it will also include bathrooms and a stage, so it'll have amenities, lights there.
Wow.
And then the most interesting thing is this is a former industrial river area, inner harbor area. So there's inlets, and the Riverwalk is going to reflect those and allow you to walk down and actually touch the water in one spot.
Ooh.
Which is, when you're on the downtown Riverwalk, you're way above the water. This, you'll actually be able to get in touch with it.
All right, you sticking around for the last segment, or are we booting you
Yeah,
out?
we still got to talk about the flag. We got to talk about the
the
scooter
damn flag.
increase.
Oh boy, here we go. Flag talk after this. 620 WTMJ.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve's Committee. For Milwaukee weight loss, yes, I have been on that journey. Yes, I have lost almost 40 pounds. It goes up and down. I gained a pound on my vacation, but I've since lost that. It's a secret, by the way, to losing a pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. I did it. You can do it. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. No drugs or injections. No risk of serious side effects. None of the gimmicky stuff, the meals, bars, shakes. No exercising required. Their program, simple. Reset your metabolism. That's what it did for me. I'm on the program for another year. I'm keeping the weight off. And I have a coach if I need it. Their program, get this, costs up to half as much, works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com, schedule a free consultation. As I said, many patients, 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. I did it. You can do it. You can be a success story. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight, but you can do it. £1 pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling. I'll go slow. 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
State Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. This summer, I'm getting relief from the hot Wisconsin sun whenever I need it with my motorized retractable awning from Comfort Awnings. Sensors are also available that detect strong winds and rain to extend or retract your awning. They even protect against UV radiation so you can safely enjoy the outdoors all summer long. Family owned and located in Burlington, Comfort Awnings expertly installs custom awnings that fit your home and style. Right now, you can receive $400 off your awning or screen. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit ComfortAwnings.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Break your mama's back. All right, a couple more fun topics with Jeremy Janine before we get out of here for today. Well, first, as our friend Peter on the text line has asked, how about all that use of the Lime scooters during Summerfest?
Absolutely. So we previously talked about how the Hop sees like a 30% boost in ridership. Lime scooters probably see even more than that. Just anecdotally using my eyeballs and seeing them everywhere. We will get actual data on that about a month from now. The Department of Public Works does produce a report. Actually, one of the really interesting things they do with that report is they actually show where the trips are going. There's a visual service. You can probably see all the scooters head toward Summerfest and at night go away from it.
Do they get deactivated in any parts of the town anymore?
Yes, there are no ride areas. I believe the Riverwalk is one.
Yep.
Lakeshore State Park, I believe, is one. There's some no ride areas and there's some no stopping areas. So like at one point, Marquette's campus, you couldn't stop the scooter there, but you could go through the campus on it.
Okay. All right.
So that there are restrictions around the Henry Meyer Festival grounds for that. But yes, heavy usage for them. I believe Lime is actually running a deal if you search for it online. I remember getting a press release about that, but I don't remember the specifics, so take advantage of getting a discount.
Got it.
It seems like I'm seeing more of them. Are they like flooding the market, or is there a limit, right, that they can actually put on the streets, or is there not?
There is a limit, and there's also a minimum. And,
yes.
if they're good actors, so if they don't get complaints against them, they can actually get a boost, so they can add several hundred more scooters. They are required to somewhat equitably disperse them around the city. And by equitably, I mean like you don't have to place 100 near Northridge and 100 downtown. It's like for every 10 you place on the far northwest side, you can put 100 downtown. So you will see them across the whole city, but there's upwards of 1,000 of them on the streets just from Lime.
No kidding.
And then the
like
other
200.
vendor, Spin, also has like 1,000 on the streets. Yeah. They're across the whole city.
I still have never ridden one.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's rather judgmental, I think. Have you ridden one?
Yes, of course.
Do you wear elbow pads and knee pads?
I do not.
Maybe you should start thinking about that because people get injured on these things.
People absolutely get. Mike got injured last year. It goes back to the pothole situation.
Yes, in Kansas City, I had we went to Arthur Bryant's great barbecue place, and I was like, "Oh, we'll go right here. We'll take a scooter. It'll be real fast." And I took my wife through a little construction zone that I was prepared for, and she was not. And she has a scar to prove her frustration with me.
All right. So, Jeremy, Janine, you're awesome about covering Milwaukee. What are some of the things you're looking at covering this week? Stories we'll talk about next.
Flag.
Oh, yeah, that stupid flag. Yeah, go ahead.
Give an update on the flag and then talk about what you're going to be watching out for this week.
Despite the way you set it up, I don't enjoy talking about the flag that much. And it appears several members of the Common Council also don't enjoy talking about it that much. We do have a flag task force coming, 9 members.
Wow.
3 by the Common Council president, 3 by the Arts Board chair, who's Alderwoman Mullally Coggs, 3 by the mayor. They now have 4 months to host a flag contest, rank the 10 best entries, and then do what I think will send the issue into a quagmire again, is send those 10 choices back to the Common Council where they are free to ignore whatever this task force said. Common Council members reiterated 2 different themes yesterday. One, my constituents don't care about this at all. There was a group that said that. And then there were others that, people say this isn't important, but there are 70-some things on the agenda today, and this is one of them. And I'd like you to remind you, this is Mullally Coggs, I'm paraphrasing, that we're focusing on those other 75 things as well.
Probably the smart thing to say. Could we just put a picture of the hone on a flag and just call it a day? Because that project, lighting the hone, all that stuff seems to be doing rather well. My friend Ian Abson always talks about it.
Well, that probably would do well for the Milwaukee County flag or the Wisconsin Department of Transportation flag. I'm sure that would open a whole new issue.
It's part. Maybe it shows intergovernmental cooperation.
There we go.
How about that piece of this important?
So when this flag contest opens, I assume Steve will submit that idea.
You can submit. You could start because you're already looking for a graphic designer for your tattoo.
Yes.
Bob Donovan submitted a flag in 2016. So
how's his flag doing?
His city, his people's flag with the city hall just like plopped on there asymmetrically.
Well, you're talking about Bob Bauman that came up last year.
I don't know.
This is Bob.
All the Bobs are just confusing.
Yes.
All right, finishing up. 1 minute. What are you looking at this week?
The big thing I'm looking for later today at McGovern Park, there's a vote. This is Milwaukee County. Graham Kilmer is covering it for Urban Milwaukee. The county is in serious budget, dire financial straits, even with the new sales tax. So their solution for their senior center that's aging in McGovern Park is to combine it with affordable housing. There's a group of park advocates that are like, no, we don't want housing or any private use whatsoever in our park. The Crowley administration's response is, well, without this, the senior center is just going to crumble.
Yeah. All right. Always look forward to your visits. To all the texters who said I was crabby today. Crabby or just high-level smarts? You be the judge. Kristen, we'll do it again tomorrow. I look forward to that. Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky. We got, tempers are flaring. I'm just going to say that.
It's going to get hot, I think.
Going to be hot in here. Tip for Jazz, look for that song, those lyrics. All right. News is next.
Summer is finally here. We're outside and maybe noticing the condition of our old windows. Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors, your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient replacement windows. Boost your curb appeal with top brands like Pella, Anderson, and Marvin, tailored to fit your home, your style, and your budget. Plus, installation by employee carpenters. Wood, vinyl,